Alright, so I got the kayak offloaded already, waiting down here at the water. Just grabbed all my stuff out of the car when I parked. And so this is it here, the Wilderness Systems Pungo 140. Found this used. It was pretty dirty, had to spend a half day or so just washing everything off real good, cleaning it back up. Looks pretty good now though. Yeah, it cleaned up better than I expected. And this is a 2013, so I think that might have been the first year they had the kind of the newer Air Pro seats. The one thing I noticed, I don't think it was till a year or two after this, they went to the larger, I think it's like Slide Lock XL or whatever they call it, pedals. These are nice, you know, nice and solid, but I do like on my Pungo 120, which is a couple years newer, it's got the real nice kind of square padded pedals versus these are kind of smaller, contoured, but they work. But the main thing, you know, obviously 14 foot long versus 12 feet like the Pungo 120, so a little bit longer. I think it's an inch narrower, so it is a little bit faster. Probably, I'm guessing, doesn't turn quite as quick as the 120 though. But the main thing, other than that, is this front bulkhead right here. So if you can see in here, you know, the 120, you have this rear bulkhead for the back, but now you got the small, I think it's an 8-inch Orbix hatch up here in the front. So not huge, but you know, you can still store some stuff in there. Definitely if you're, you know, going camping or anything like that, you got quite a bit of room up there. But mainly just for a safety, from a safety aspect. Now if you were to capsize, you know, out in open water, middle of a bay or something, and you do swamp the cockpit, you're still going to have, you know, positive buoyancy on either end because you'll have all the air up in that bulkhead, you know, and all the air in the aft compartment. And I think, you know, same Orbix hatch that you see on the 120 on here, so nice and big, plenty of room. This seems a little bit longer than the 120, kind of from the hatch to the back, I've noticed. Yeah, I'll have to see. I took that little seal out and cleaned it, but when I put it back in, it seems like maybe it doesn't, I don't know. I'll have to see how waterproof it is. And I also noticed this Orbix hatch has a pretty good sized gap back here. I think it just gets warped or whatever with how it's stored maybe, or something like that, or out in the sun. I may be able to kind of heat that up a little bit and put some weight there if I need to, but again, it's got that little seal or whatever, that foam gasket, so hopefully it's still watertight enough. But I know back when I had Wilderness Systems years ago, when they came out with these Orbix hatches, that was kind of an ongoing problem with some of them. Like, see on this side, it's, you know, pretty nice and tight, especially on this side. But over there you got a pretty big gap. So, and this seat looks real good. All the adjustments work fine. I'll go over just real quick. This is the same as all the Wilderness Phase 3 Air Pro seats. So one adjustment I really like, the seat back can go down and up. So there's actually these little bungees that run up here. So when this cord is all the way out, it just, the bungee tension pops the seat back up. But all you got to do is pull this strap forward and it lowers that seat back. And so when I'm going for a good paddle, you know, trying to get a better workout or whatever, I like having this nice and low so you can get good torso rotation. But if you want to kind of lounge, take a break, whatever, you're just sitting back, you know, bird watching or whatever, putting this a little bit higher, make it real nice and relaxed. And then obviously, you know, like any seat, you're gonna have these two pulls on the side. You know, pull these straps and this seat's gonna come, you know, recline forward basically. And then they do give you, you know, you pull on the plastic buckle here like normal, all these kind of buckles, but they give you these little pull cords too that help. So if I put just a little bit of pressure on here and I pull inwards on these pull cords, you'll see that seat goes right back. So it's kind of a nice thing. Just helps from fumbling around so much, just be able to get a finger in there real quick. But again, from here you just pull forward on these, and that'll bring that seat back forward. And I'll have to kind of adjust these once I'm out on the water, figure out where it was. And I guess that's, one of the really sweet features, again, you know, that seat back going up and down, but something I really like is, you know, where the top of your legs, you know, this is kind of your butt back here, and then this is kind of under your forward part of your thighs, you know, kind of just behind your knees. But being able to, you can pull this strap up and it raises this, and so now you got support up under your thighs and it locks in there, and that's really nice. You don't really have, you know, in these Pungos, your knees just kind of rest up against the sides here, so you're not really locking your knees like into a thigh brace on the inside of the coaming here. But either way, it's still way more comfortable. It just helps kind of distribute some of the weight in the seat or whatever, so you're not getting a sore butt so much, I've noticed. Oops, wrong one. But anyway, so you pull this to make it up, and then you just got these two little cleat here with two sides. So if you push in on both of these sides, and then you'll see that just goes back down flat. And so whenever you're, you know, you can have it like that, and then when you're sitting in it and you want to adjust it, it's real easy to just reach forward in between your legs, pull that up right where you want it. Bungee deck rigging, same, you know, not a whole lot to talk of there, same as the 120. You just got this X of bungee in front, X of bungee behind. Same handles, obviously, just these cloth ones, but you know, they work, no issues. If you leave them out in the sun a lot, you know, you'll probably have to replace these every, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. It's kind of a normal item. But yeah, I'm gonna, I brought this little seat pad just because this seat looks pretty good right now. I got it all cleaned up, but if you, I don't know if it shows up right here and kind of through here. This, it's real obvious if you try to look from the bottom. You know, this is just the like fine mesh on the outside with this gray kind of closed cell foam, the little skinny foam on the inside for padding. But it looked like a rat, a squirrel, something got in there and was chewing on it. So it's got these foam is all eaten out kind of right here, right where your tailbone is going to sit. So it's $75. You can replace this whole seat pad, and they are in stock, which is nice. I know some of these seat parts, a couple of them can be hard to get or impossible to get, it seems like, but that is something that was available. The only difference is it seems like everyone that has them in stock, it's going to be the newer model from the more recent years, where it's a light gray pad with orange piping, you know, on the side. But whatever, that'll actually probably match the Kayak better. But I just brought this. This is just from an old Hobie seat, and my thinking is just maybe you're right in there, give me a little extra padding, and if it does work out, it's already got these little holes here, so maybe just a quick little zip tie or bungee, something just to keep it there. We'll see how that works. And I got my normal paddle I'm always using, Aquabound Stingray. This is the hybrid, so carbon shaft and then kind of fiberglass carbon reinforced blade, 230 centimeter. But anyway, just get my stuff loaded in here. Got my speaker if I want to get some tunes later. Don't have a whole lot of time today. Just gotta probably just be an hour and a half now before sunset. But at least here in Rocky Bayou, it's a nice kind of protected spot. And if you go, you know, I don't know if it's a 3/4 of a mile, something like that, close to a mile into the back of the bay here, you do have Rocky Creek, which is a nice little creek that goes up a ways. So I don't know if I'll have time, if I'm feeling that energetic, but if I get all the way back there, that's a good place to kind of test the maneuverability and test how it does on tighter creeks and stuff. So just getting my gear loaded. But I do use just one of these little tethers. So this side, just I got it tethered to my actually my little rescue hook thing here on my PFD, and then this, Koala, I think, yeah, the Koala little phone thing, and it works really good. The only thing is if I do it normally on all four, it kind of blocks a couple of these camera lenses. I forget which one, so I usually just go around the 3 corners and just kind of fold this side back just so all my cameras are open, and I've never had a problem even with just those 3 sides. And that way, if you do drop it, you know, your phone's not going to go anywhere. So on this 140, I'm pretty certain, yeah, I can definitely tell, just here behind the seat you have a little more room, so more space behind the seat back to the bulkhead. I'm not sure about to the back of the actual cockpit combing itself, but I mean, that's something I really like. I never even thought about it when I got that Pungo, but I pretty much always am storing stuff right back there behind the seat in front of that rear bulkhead. Let's see, this I can just put back here. I'll leave my flashlights and stuff in there. Don't plan on being out at dark, but this is just my little GoPro stuff. I'll just leave that in the back here. So I just put a little waterproof Plano box, put my wallet, keys, all that good stuff in there. And then my water bottles go back here. Usually I'll have my paddle float and bilge pump just on the bungee lines there on the back. All right. Just be going barefoot today. Put these up in the front hatch. That's kind of nice to have. So obviously I like having the front bulkhead and storage up front, but one thing I have noticed is just I've gotten so used to the 120, like being able to slide my paddle or some bags and stuff and just be able to slide them all the way to the front. So I keep forgetting, like, oh yeah, I can't just throw stuff in there and slide to the front right now. All right, we'll see how that seat does. All right, easy entry. So now I'm floating. So right now I'm just gonna try to get the seat adjusted. I did put my wallet away, right? Yep. All right. So now I can pull up on there, get that thigh support I was talking about. Let's see, I have been playing around lately with a little bit of, I like that kind of 15 degrees feathered on the right blade. So I was playing around with that, and it's been a few weeks now. I think I've been pretty much using it like that most of the time. And then yesterday when I got out here real quick and I just put the paddle you know, on 0 feather like I'm used to, it felt weird. So I guess just in this few weeks I've kind of readjusted, gotten used to this 15 degrees feather. Hey. That's pretty common when I'm back here on Rocky Bayou. I see guys on those sup boards, kind of the nice stand-up paddle boards, the more like race ones, race boards, and those guys can fly. I'll be back here on my Hobie sometimes, even like my Hobie Revolution 16, which is, you know, regarded as a really fast sit on top. And I'll be pedaling along and one of those guys on one of their kind of race boards like that, paddle boards, is back here. And man, those guys, they can move. It'll be everything I can just to keep up with them. So let's see, quick speed check, 3.9 knots. So I think I have you that 4.4, 4.5 miles an hour. That's not bad for a cruise, and this is kind of into a quartering headwind through here. I was gonna say, I do feel it wanting to weathercock maybe just a bit into the wind over here. When I brought the kayak out here for a quick paddle yesterday evening after I bought it, my family came out here too, and my sister saw a cottonmouth hanging out kind of right up in that area. So, something to watch out for. So this is Rocky Bayou State Park, and these are all the kayaks that they rent. You can rent for the day. So over here towards the entrance of Rocky Creek, it can be kind of a challenge. It can be kind of frustrating sometimes trying to paddle back into the creek because this gets really shallow back here. So a lot of times you'll end up getting stuck and having to get out and drag your kayak. It does seem like the water is higher, so I think it might work out today, hopefully. We'll see. It was one of the things with the 120 is I noticed it didn't draft as shallow as I was expecting. I guess I'm used to kind of the sit on tops with kind of a flat bottom, and it seems like they can go a little shallower. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ground here. Ooh, nope, I made it. So I think I'll be good if I made it over that. So if I get it on this edge a little bit, a couple nice wide sweeps, yeah, it turns it pretty good. Like I was saying, yeah, it's kind of a shallow to mid V all the way along these pungos on the bottom on the keel, which gives it the really good tracking, and I'm sure that's what gives the impressive speed. But I've noticed it seems like when I get in the real shallow areas, I'll hit the bottom a little bit sooner than I expect, you know, just by an inch or two. I wasn't sure the 140, so now I'm definitely into a headwind. Ooh, but not bad. Seems like the wind's kind of switchy. Seems like it's at my back and then I'm going into it. Anyway, the 140 being higher volume, and I think it does have, you know, higher weight capacity, makes sense. And me weighing it down the same, I was wondering, compared to the 120, I might be able to get a little bit shallower in here, just because, like I said, more volume and the same amount of weight, so probably not weighing it down quite as much in the water, but I don't know if that'd be enough to even realize. I'm probably just overthinking it. This is a new sign. Operation of gas-powered motors in personal watercraft prohibited. Ooh. Is that from Eglin? I didn't actually... Yep, Order of Installation Commander, Eglin Air Force Base. Yeah, so that's new. That never used to be there. But I like that. But yeah, this is the dirt road you can come by. And this road used to be pretty bad. You know, you needed like a kind of a four-wheel drive with pretty good clearance to get back here, because it would get, you know, some pretty good mud holes and stuff. But a year or so ago, they kind of graded that dirt road that comes back here, so it's much better. When they first did it, it's like you could get just any car back here, but I think it's already kind of, the sand's getting deeper again, but it's a lot more accessible. But yeah, this is definitely higher water than normal. When I come back here, normally a lot of this area is really shallow, so you got to kind of pay attention to stay in the deeper parts of the creek. But it shouldn't be too bad today. One thing I've noticed is I don't think I got my seat back adjusted quite right. Maybe I need to bring the recline forward a tad. So this is kind of as wide as this creek is right through here. Once you get up here and go under the bridge from this new little connector loop road they put in 5 or so years ago, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago now. Used to be out in the middle of nowhere, but now I got that big road and overpass bridge right there. But once you get past that, it gradually, for the next quarter mile to half mile, it starts getting a little skinnier, and then it goes, you can go back quite a ways. I think I've gone maybe not quite 2 miles from the entrance of the creek here upstream. But it does get a little tight and a little windy, and there's usually, you know, not a crazy current, but enough that it's a good workout going upstream, and especially like in the Pungos, where if it's something that doesn't turn real sharp, it's a good workout, just trying to keep from getting, you know, knocked around, pushed off into the bushes around each corner. See, I might be able to take this side. So usually the deeper side is around to the right, but looks like there's enough water today. Might be able to pick some different lines than I normally take. Nice little fish right there. Not sure what that was. Yeah. Usually like that spot right there and kind of up here, a couple little spots you got to pay attention, where the current kind of wants to push you off into the bank. Oh. So I think some of this is new. That big tree right there in the water. I guess I haven't been back here in I don't know, it's been a month or two, a month maybe, a few weeks. Yeah, it's kind of nice that the water's up, because some of these sections, like right there, to be in the deep enough part of the creek, I'd be right up in these branches and stuff. But turns like this is where you got to kind of anticipate and get that bow coming around before that current just pushes you off into those limbs in the bank. Yeah, this is about, I think this water level is about as high as it's been when I come back here. So this is kind of nice, a little bit different. But you still got some kind of skinny areas. Ooh. Might need to start stretching a little bit before I come. I've noticed maybe this 140 is a little bit harder to turn. Because even last night and today, when I'm trying to maneuver real tight and make these tight turns, my shoulder's getting a little bit sore. Turtle. Decent sized little turtle. Last time I was up this creek a few weeks ago, saw some good sized fish. I think it might have been, I think it was a little bit further up from here, but somewhere around this point. Right after one of these turns, just one of these little deep pockets. I couldn't tell what they were. They almost looked like good sized redfish, which I guess it could be, but I'm not real good at my fish ID underwater. So this is one of the highlights, at least for me, coming back on Turkey Creek back here. You don't have to come whatever this is, quarter mile, half mile, not very far up. Oh yeah, this water level I can tell is way higher. So this right here is actually an old wreck. You can see it looks, I think that might be part of the landing gear. You got kind of part of the wing down here I'm hitting. So you got part right there and kind of wrapped around that tree, and then part right here. And I have Googled it and actually was able to find the information. I always, for whatever reason, I always assumed it, I don't know, looked like a T6 or some kind of old you know, propeller plane, but it was actually a fighter. I think it was, I forget now, like an F-100, F-90 something, F-80 something. One of those early Air Force fighter jets. But yeah, I think it did say the guy was able to bail out here. And then this is just the wreckage, so kind of the two spots there and there. Pretty cool. You know, I think it was, I can't remember now if it was like the 50s or something like that. So it's definitely been back here. Definitely been back here a while. And I don't know, with all the hurricanes and everything over the years, just kind of surprising to me that it's sitting, you know, just so visible and everything as it still is. Yep. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy survived. Like I said, I was able to find something that said he bailed out. So, a fish right here, something small. So that was nice to know. First few times I saw it before I looked it up, kind of wonder if the guy would have had a chance to get out. So this is actually the time of year where I'm not as excited to paddle some of these small creeks. I think kind of the mating season for alligators. I want to say, they usually say like April, May, June, something like that, kind of the beginning of summer. That's when they're most active and territorial. So I mean, I know realistically gators aren't you know, too much of a problem for kayakers, and it's, I think, practically zero fatalities of kayakers being attacked by gators, but still makes me a little bit nervous. I've seen a pretty big one back here before, and just, you know, the water's up, so it seems a little bit wider, but a lot of times this will be a little bit narrower still through here. I just don't like being that close to these big gators when I really don't have much of an area to escape. But like I said, I know it's more just my perceived fear. Ooh, there's a decent sized fish. That almost looked like a red. If I see any more fish, it might convince me to bring a fishing pole with me next time. I never do any freshwater fishing, so that's all kind of new to me, but like I said, I'm pretty sure you definitely get some saltwater stuff. You know, this part of the stream. For some reason, I've noticed I seem to have more of a tendency to slap the sides of the kayak here with the paddle to hit it. Seems like maybe more than the 120. I'm not sure why. Heard something, not sure if that was like a turkey or what that noise was. Something kind of bug on the front of the kayak there. There we go. Yeah, nice thing about this creek right here is typically you never see anyone else back here. Summertime, you'll see some kayakers here, canoes every once in a while, but a lot of times I don't see anyone. Like I said, when you see those jet skis and jombos and stuff, they're usually just to the front there. I don't think they can get past some of these little narrower spots once you get further up here. Alright, so I think the last thing I was going to show you is coming up here. I just got done. I got pushed into some of these limbs and a little spider up there, so I had to squish the spider. There we go. Whoa. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, got myself into a pickle. Huh. That was a bit embarrassing. Never actually had that problem there. That might be the difference between the 12 and the 14. I got all pushed up into the bank. But yeah, some enterprising individuals took it upon themselves to build this nice little camp out spot back here. And I've never seen, been back here a handful of times, never seen anyone else back here. Hoping that's it for the spiders. Yeah, I do need, I've been saying the same thing on my 120. I need a paddle park, someplace to secure my paddle. Like I said, on the 120, without having that bulkhead, I can just keep my paddle in one piece and I just slide it up into the nose. But being that I have that bulkhead, I can't do that anymore. Hopefully there's no more spiders hanging out up there. And of course, best part of the Pungo is the easy on and off like that. So, a little bit of water in here, not much, not enough to worry about. Of course, my little GoPro bag is getting a little wet, but no big deal. So yeah, that pad has actually been staying where it needs to be without having it secured at all. I figured it might be slipping around a little bit, but seems to be working good. Alright. Huh. It's weird. All these air pockets, like air bubbles coming out of the sand right there. What's up with that? Huh. Seems weird. Yeah, it's a nice little place to come take a little break. Yeah, I would say with the water being higher, it'd probably be a nice day to keep going up more than I normally do. But the problem is, like I said when I started, I did not give myself much time today. So, well, less than 45 minutes to sunset. Yeah, so probably don't have time to go much further up. All right. Alright, so I feel a little better after my little 5-minute break. Give my arms a rest. There's some ducks taking off up there. So, can't tell, it's starting to get, already starting to get a little dark. I think just being so cloudy of a day. But it's just so nice. Makes you just want to keep going. Oh, but I did forget the state park I'm parked at. They close at sunset. But you are able to ask for an after-hour pass, which I do have, but you got to display the after-hours pass up in your windshield or the dash, stick the paper there, and I did not do that, so bummer. I guess that means I should probably get back sooner than later. I've never had a problem in the past, you know. Sometimes I'll be a few minutes after sunset getting out of there, but you know, I think technically they could ticket you for being there after sunset. Alright, I'll just poke my head up around this next bend and then turn around after that. It's a nice tree sticking out over the creek there. Seems like if I was a bird, I'd be perched right up in the middle of that. Get a good view of everything. I did see a bald eagle back here in the last 6 months or so. So that was kind of cool. And it might have been this, I feel like it probably was this general area. There is some kind of bird, not sure what it was. Ooh, spider. I think you got out. Something hanging in there. Alright, well, oh, there's that bird again. Couldn't tell if that was some kind of bird or duck. Looks like it had some white around its neck, a little white ring. So I don't know if it's just me, but like when I'm fishing and you know you need to get going, and it's always, you know, I always tell myself, ah, I'll do one more cast and then that's it. I'll head in after that. And it's like, you'll end up saying that to yourself like 10 more times. Like, oh, no, one more. One more after this one. I feel like that's how I get when I'm up in these creeks. Oh, I'm going to go into this tree. Ugh. These pretty flowers right on the water here. Yeah, I always tell myself like, oh, I'll do one more turn, or I'll go up to that, you know, end of this little straightaway to that next bend. And it's just like the last cast. It's like you get there and it's like, oh, well, there's another little straightaway here and then another bend. So I'll just go up to the end of that bend and then turn around. Oh, the mistake I make a lot. I paused my watch when I was taking my little break back there at the whatever little campsite thing, and then I forgot to unpause it when I got going again. All right. So this time I mean it. I'll just go poke my head up around, get through this bend right here, and then I'll turn it around. With such high water level, I've seen a few of these little cuts that normally there's no way of getting the kayak back there, and it's like, oh man, I could probably sneak back there a little bit if I really wanted to. All right, we're flying now, boys. I don't think it was supposed to rain, but kind of ever since I got out here, it looked dark enough to where it's like, oh, maybe it'll drizzle a little bit. 4.5, 4.6. Oh yeah. It's the one thing that helps you when you push a little longer than you should going upstream is once you turn around, now you're going twice as fast. Woo! 4.5 miles an hour, barely paddling. The only thing that means though is if I'm going that much faster, I've got that much less time to get my boat turned, pointed where it needs to be pointed. So, as much fun as it is going downstream, you just still got to pay attention to the technical bits. Miles an hour, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4. Tip it over a little bit, get that blade. Ooh, didn't plan on hitting that. That's what I gotta watch out for. More bugs on here. Ooh, a nice little straightaway through here. So I do love these bright kayaks, like I said earlier, but I will admit that they do have a couple downsides. So the first one being, I think it feels like to me that these bright colors, I get more insects, especially times when there's, you know, horse flies or bees, stuff like that. I feel like the brighter color kayak might attract them a little bit more than the other color, so that's a bit of a negative. And today it's this nice overcast. It's kind of, you know, getting towards dusk or whatever, so it's hard to tell. But during bright sunny days, when you're on the water a lot, these bright boats, it almost it's just really bright, like in your eyes. You know, I guess normally you have your sunglasses on if you're going to be on the water. You really need those polarized sunglasses around here. But having a more muted color kayak is a little bit nicer. You just don't get that real bright, you know, light reflecting back into your face while you're on the water all day. But I'll gladly take those compromises for a brighter color. Oh, am I gonna? Oh, I ran over the flower. It came back up. Man, this is so fun. Oh, I gotta get in the right spot for this. Ooh, just missed it. Alright, another turn. There we go. Yeah. Oh, getting close to the edge there. I've never done a one-way trip down any of these creeks around here, just because I'm always by myself. and I don't really have a way to do a shuttle. And I've actually thought about having someone like drive my car out and then just, you know, have someone I know shuttle for me, but my truck is a manual transmission and no one else in the house can drive a manual. So that's kept that from working. Ooh, just barely scraping. So just a guess at this point, but I do feel, and this is where I got into trouble on the way up here. Come on. I feel like I'm pretty, I don't know, I feel pretty confident now, especially after that this 140 is a little bit shallower of a draft than the 120. I mean, you're kind of splitting hairs. You know, all these kayaks can go really skinny, but I do feel like if I'm going to be in areas like that where I'm just inches of water for a long while, I feel like there is enough of a noticeable difference. Spiderweb. Ugh. Guess I missed that one on the way up. Can't remember. I feel like I might have taken that way around here once, but it's a lot tighter. All right, make it through. Oh, spiderweb. Oh. That almost looks like, ugh. Yeah, getting into some spiderwebs back here. That looks, I don't know, looks like more of the current might be coming down that way, like that's the main way. I should go. Looks like I can explore up that way a little bit further with the water level. But no time. I think I got close to 6 miles an hour there. Better clip going downstream. That's usually my little game I like to do, is, you know, just chug my way upstream until I get myself nice and tired out. And take a little break, and then when I come back downstream, just see how fast I can get going. And it makes it fun going around these tight turns when you get going faster. It was a little more fun in my Necky I had. I feel like it could turn a little better. And it had a rudder, so you could put the rudder down, and that was kind of fun. steer yourself around the turns, but still fun on any kayak. I'm just thinking though, I got that last 3/4 of a mile or whatever across the bay to get back to the launch, and for some reason my shoulder is a bit sore or something today, so I think I'll just take a relaxed trip down this time. So I think that said it's been 4 miles. So I didn't do a good job paying attention to my time, because I'm noticing 6:53 right now, and sunset was basically 7 o'clock, give or take 2 minutes, I think, maybe 7:02, 7:01. So I'll be a little bit late getting back, but oh well. Hadn't been a problem before. But one nice thing, woohoo, yeah. If I lean, what was that, turtle? Yeah. Yeah, hard to see. There he is, turtle. I can lean this thing over to where the water's almost halfway up the. It usually seems like it wants to sit kind of right at the bottom of the sticker there, the Wilderness Systems logo. Like, oh, pay attention. Right there, if I lean it over, it just comes up, but you can push it a little bit further so the water line's kind of halfway up. But water's still a touch cooler than I like to go swimming in, so I haven't, actually even with my 120, I have not tested the limits of what it takes to capsize in that. Another turtle. A lot of turtles today. Well, I don't see them underwater like that. You know, I think being so overcast, I think that helps with, you know, the water's real clear back here right now, but being kind of an overcast day, I think that helps a little bit see down into the water better than when it's a bright day and you got all the reflection. Which side of this one? I'll go left side. Well, yep. I'm gonna say, sometimes it's fun to kind of bounce your way along the log, but too late. Changed my mind. What was some old ducks or birds? Yeah, little ducks right there. Flew down off that tree into the water. So definitely later than I like to be getting back now, but right as I got into Rocky Bayou, there's a guy on that stand-up paddleboard that apparently had his cell phone in a, you know, a watertight box, a dry box, and fell off his back deck somehow when he was practicing turns or something, and he can't find it, so he's been out looking for it. So I went and paddled around, you know, kind of the downwind shoreline for a while, but I didn't see anything either. But it's getting pretty well dark, so I gotta come back up here and get out of the park. And besides that, I don't know, I got something in my, I guess it's like my left kind of shoulder or bicep or something. I think I was just kind of strained something a little bit when I was practicing those different strokes or whatever going up the river. So I'm okay doing nice, easy, normal strokes, but when I start doing a lot of turning and stuff, I feel like I'm just kind of got a sore muscle there. But luckily it's not a straight headwind, it's more of a crosswind. So not too bad. Really hope I don't have a ticket on my car. Anyway, I definitely like the 140. A little bit quicker speed. I like having the front storage area and that bulkhead. Just for that extra peace of mind that I'd have a better chance of at least getting back in this thing to paddle over the shore to get the water out or something if I were to capsize somewhere in more open water. And I don't know if it's probably a little less maneuverable than the 120, but the 120 tracks so straight that it's, you know, it's not that maneuverable either, so I don't think that'll bother me too much. And I didn't go that far up the creek this time, but there was there's like 2 or 3 spots where having the couple foot shorter boat would have been nice, but it's totally doable. I'm trying to think, I've had my I've taken my Revolution 16 or my Adventure, that's a 16-foot long Hobie sit on top, and I've taken it pretty far up there. So the length isn't a deal breaker. Alright, I'm just going to stop the video here as it got too dark to really see much on the GoPro. Only other comments I made in this last 5 minutes or so back to the boat ramp was the wind had picked up a little bit, got a little bit gusty, and it was pretty much a straight crosswind from the left, and the 140 did a good job of tracking straight, so it wasn't showing a tendency to weathercock very much, so that was good. Pretty much what I expected. The 120
It didn't weathercock that bad either for its length, and the 140's that much better. And just to fast forward a little bit, so I kept the Pungo 120 and 140, so I had them both for a number of months. I did end up selling the 120 just because I found myself really enjoying the 140 more, just for longer distances and kind of cruising straight line trips. When I'm going up in the rivers and the twisty creeks and stuff, I have another kayak that I found I enjoy better for that kind of work. Still have the 140. It's been great. This first impression, everything was good. Didn't really see anything I didn't like. But alright, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.